It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker from last night, Sean Finter, is going to come up and say a few words about our next presentation.
Thanks, sir. All right, well, hello again, everybody. Really cool to spend some time with you guys last night and share my story and get to hear a lot of your stories last night over a couple of drinks. A jackalope, which I didn't even know what that was, and seeing Boris naked riding a jackalope was probably the highlight for me so far. So, there's some photos for us. I've got them. So, guys, your next speaker today is my business partner, Jeffrey McGuire. I met Jeffrey several years ago. I guess the common denominator for Jeffrey and I is we both work with company leaders. Jeffrey comes out of a hospitality background originally in bars and clubs through family businesses, and then spent a long time with consumer electronics and helping those leaders to coach and connect their teams forward. Our partnership has been through Pulse. We have got started with USBG, and we have ideas and plans, and we're really here to look to engage you guys to take that to the next level and really look to serve the members of USBG on a higher level. I think you're going to enjoy the time with Jeffrey, so without further ado, this is Jeffrey McGuire.
Thanks, I appreciate the applause, but you haven't heard me speak yet, so. So, quick question. Think about the last 12 months, the best service experience you guys have had. Because I'm going to call on somebody. So just think about, it could be bar, restaurant, it could be really anywhere, the best possible service experience you guys have had. This way? Oh, it's wireless. Okay. Are you thinking? Because I'm going to call on somebody. So everybody starts looking down quickly. Best service experience you've had, yeah.
On the airport, at the New Orleans airport on the way over here.
Really?
Tammy the bartender was flying out.
What was awesome about it?
Well, I didn't have time to finish my beer, so she gave me a coffee cup and poured the beer inside of it.
is that FA everybody? Okay. Somebody else. Over here. You. Best? Yeah.
I think it was at a hotel, checking in the hotel and heading out for dinner, and was given a great suggestion and actually walked over to the restaurant and test it out.
Well, see, so the common denominator here is there's something different, something remarkable, something interesting. I think everyone's typically willing to pay for something of value, right? Everybody loves to buy, ultimately, right? But now, what's your worst service experience? Who's got a, oh my God, this is the worst service experience? They tried to sell me things I didn't need or I didn't want or something. How about you covering your face with your hand right there? Yes, yeah.
I can think of one of the worst experiences was almost being over-attended to and not being allowed to relax. Two people that I had was family members not too long ago. We never even got a chance. It was a goodbye dinner, and we barely even got a chance to say goodbye to one another because we had 8 different people telling us about the local eggs we were eating.
Sure, and that's a good one. It's interesting. You have to find the balance. How about over here? You worst, yeah, in the last 12 months, yeah.
Just someone constantly filling my coffee cup up. I don't want to be done.
Just pushing it. Right, well, that's actually part of the idea that everybody loves to buy. No one likes to be sold. No one likes to be over-attended to. And I'm bringing this up because we think about the philosophy of the community and the platform. There's some similarities. Because who here likes all-day training sessions? Right, me neither. Oh, put your hand down to Angus. Yeah, the only one he's teaching them. Right. See, our take is that most people don't, right? When it comes to the idea of training, monkeys are trained, right? We have to be inspired, we have to be educated, entertained, and engaged. So we actually did a study last year in hospitality for the impact of just straight all-day training. So this is a guy, Jason Andrews. This was 2012, but the data is still good. Here's a picture of him at 9 a.m. before an 8-hour training session. And then we took a picture of him at 5 p.m. at the end of it. Okay? I mean, this was a stressful day, don't get me wrong. But the reality is, we all want to be the best possible versions of ourselves. But how we get there as people, we need flexibility, we need control. The next part of our philosophy is simple, is that we are smarter than me. I would argue that in this room right now, there's more collective wisdom about how to deliver amazing experiences at the bar than anywhere in this country at the moment. right? I mean, think about how much experience is here, how much expertise. And yet you guys are only, like so many, scratching the surface with how we share that and bring that together. So the first concept behind the community, one, is it's not just about training, right? It's about so much more than that. It's about learning, teaching, sharing, influencing, commenting, and getting involved. And it's the second piece is that we are smarter than me, right? We, the collective, the reason we join associations is to learn from each other, to improve and accelerate together, right? So think about the member goals. Now I want to have a quick discussion on this. We've done some surveying of the goals of the people in the industry. And so there's kind of the high level, I want to increase my quality of life. I want to either make more money where I am, either with my current position or advancing positions, or I want to make more money somewhere else. I want to go to a new venue and do something differently there, or the same. And I want to do more in less time with a work-life balance. So just quickly around the room, you guys joined for a reason. How much of this is what you're trying to accomplish, or what else are you? What are your kind of current goals? Because what we're going to show you is a discussion on how we can help you accelerate those, and how we can build, as you see, that kind of ultimate learning curriculum to fill in the gaps from where you are today to where you'd like to be. Just quickly, who aligns? For how many, raise your show of hands, this is kind of aligned with your current goals? All right, you have to vote one way or the other. Okay, so that's 40%. How many is this not aligned with your current goals? All right, again, that you have to vote things. So let me ask the first one again. How many is this aligned with your current goals?
Any one of the three?
Oh, yeah, or all, yeah, any one of the three. Okay, so I've got, okay, 85% of it. So anything else that's missing from here that you guys would like to see added?
Education.
Well, so education is implicit in I want to, be current. Make more money where I am, either here or somewhere else. So part of how we get there is learning. So these are the outcomes we're trying to create.
But education can be its own outcome.
Okay, so just learning for the sake of learning.
Yes.
Okay, I'm down with that.
I just want to enjoy what I do. I'm not so concerned with money. I just want to have fun doing it.
So quality of life, just having more fun.
Helping others.
Helping others. Okay. What else?
More toys.
More toys. You want to define that? Maybe afterwards for drinks. I don't want to ask what that means. I've been a lot of places. Toys means a lot of things. So, okay. So just generally speaking, we're trying to help align overall life outcomes. So have fun, enjoy myself, work-life balance, just learn because I want to be better at who I am and what I want to do. And that's both personal and professional, right? The kind of learning both within our context of the work that we do and then just how to do a better job being a person. So we look at these goals and we also look at them by experience level. So you think about the beginner and the needs of the beginner, right? So just basic skills, context, just basically the basic customer engagement is to help get better, be good at what they do. The intermediate, right? So advanced knowledge, advanced customer engagement, leadership. Help me take this job, make it a career without losing my mind. Is kind of that idea there. And then advanced, business insights, skills, and ultimately management. Help me do things fundamentally differently. How do you guys feel about these? Thinking about the basic and the beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So these are the kinds of things at these levels that you need to know. What do you need to know as a beginner? Everything. Break everything down. How much of it is skill, customer engagement? Is there anything up here that we're missing? Or are we missing anything?
Networking.
Networking? Okay. What did you say over here?
Grammar's good. Help make me good.
How make me good at what I do? Yeah. Okay. Intermediate, kind of accelerating. Who here is a beginner? Anybody? No beginners, right? We have one over here.
Whatever you do.
How about a strategy or a plan? Exactly.
A strategy or plan? Talk more about that.
Don't you think that should be more of a beginner?
So, just what do you mean by this? So, a strategy or plan to accelerate your career?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Anything else beginners need to know?
What's the framework that they're allowed to operate in at that level? Like, what are the preliminary boundaries that they should stick in?
Okay.
Or are there no boundaries?
Or are there? That's an interesting question. But really, where should they be focused in that beginning part of their career? And intermediate and advanced. Go ahead.
Measurable goals.
Measurable goals? Okay. Because these are the kinds of things that as leaders in the organization, we're going to look to you and you have the opportunity to help define. I mean, you have an opportunity when someone comes into the industry and joins the organization to show them the ropes, to identify, hey, this is what you should be focused on. This is what's important in your first 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. And the community is a place where you can drive that kind of an influence. So just think about that. Now, this is something we ask all the time. Hospitality, every industry. Very simple question. What business are you in? So, what business are you in? Hospitality.
Customer service.
Yep. See, we hear that a lot. We hear hospitality, we hear the food business. But we would argue that there's a different lens or different context. That ultimately what all of us are really in is the experience business. So you're in the food business if you're producing or manufacturing the food. But is anyone here killing chickens in their backyard? Toys? No, okay. Say something. No, right? So all we have to offer is an experience. So they can buy the food somewhere else. They can buy the alcohol at the corner store if they want to. When they come to our venues, our retailers, our shop for is an experience. Something that from beginning to end, our take has to be remarkable. And every single one of you guys and every member, because think of yourselves, you're leading thousands of people across the country who are looking to you to lead them, to help them develop a career, to take this from a job for some side money into a career, into a lifestyle, as David said, that you actually enjoy. And all of that has to be wrapped up in an experience. So if you think then about the experience is the product, there's so many touch points when somebody comes to a venue. They can call in, right, for directions. What happens in the parking lot. I'll give you a 30-second story. If you go to Disney World today, who's been to Disney World in the last 12 or 24 months? Okay. You brought your kids, I'm assuming, right? Okay. No, okay. Anybody bring their kids? Okay, I got 5 kids, I brought you, okay. So, today, if you go to Disney, and you lock your keys in the car, they'll hand them back to you in 4 minutes or less. They'll apologize for having that happen to you as though it's their fault, and they'll get you back to the park. Now, is there anyone here who can break into a car in 4 minutes or less? Angus, put your hair down. Oh, you too. All right, so. We have a session on that later tonight, so. But the point is, they take an issue like that could be a disaster, and they take it from a disaster to remarkable. They take it on, it's not their fault, but it is their problem, because they know how excited you are, or at least their kids are, right, when you get there. They're in the backseat screaming, right? It's like a bee's nest, and you just want to get the hell out of the car. And they take it and they make it remarkable. Now, the reason I bring this up isn't to say, each of you should start a auto shop and start breaking people into their cars. Although, does anyone here have a locksmith on call in case it happens at your restaurant? Anybody? Not difficult, right? If it happened, how easy would it be to say, hey, we've got a negotiated rate, it's 20% off, have a seat, here's a drink ticket for those who lock their keys in the car, here's another one for someone else to drive you home, but here you go, and we'll get you on the rest of your night. Very different experience. The reason I bring this up, though, is in general, you guys are the center of the experience. If we're in the experience business, you guys are the center of it. And hey, Aaron, can I get a little water?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's actually a fresh one.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're the center of the experience. So if you reframe, think about the thousands of people who are members of this organization. What you're trying to ultimately help them do is be the center of a remarkable experience. Trying to lead them and give them guidance. And you guys, again, know more than most about how to do that. Latin root of the word corporation is corp.
Body.
Anybody know what that means? Who said it?
Body.
Body. So engaging any one of you is the embodiment of your entire experience. Who had that service experience where you're overserved? Right? So isn't that your whole perspective now? If you came back to somebody else and they asked for your perspective on that restaurant, you'd say, just they won't leave you alone. Right? They're climbing on my shoulder to get, right? Or they wouldn't leave my coffee cup alone, right? Any one experience, that's it. That's the embodiment. And it's also true of your members. When they come in to engage you, they come to one meeting, one session, they come online and read one aspect of something you posted, and that to them is the embodiment of the entire USBG brand. So every one of you has an opportunity to influence them. And think about it this way. 50,000 years ago, we all looked like this, right? Not all, but some are better looking than others. Angus was a good-looking caveman, if he was. Hello. Okay, so what would happen 50,000 years ago, though, if you didn't follow the leader, right? So caveman's your clan leader. What if you didn't follow their path? What would happen? What happens?
You probably die.
Probably die. Freezing and starvation, right. If you don't follow the leader, you die. So people will follow them. Now, we are far more civilized today than we used to be, okay, because we're a lot more civilized. But the point is, even today, with our little guy here, he's following the leader. We instinctually follow the leader, and you guys are the leaders of the organization. So every one of you has an opportunity to inspire, to entertain, to educate, and to engage. So think about what the platform enables for you to do that. So how many people here have to get on the platform, the USBG Pulse community, regularly? Has everyone been on? Yeah, okay. A lot of you guys are on it regularly. And you'll see, the people who are newer, they're looking for answers, looking for information. And what we want to do today is to craft a story, and the exercise we're going to do is for you guys to identify what you think the ultimate curriculum is, what's in there and what's missing, and what's next. Because we've come a long way. We've come from launch to thousands and thousands and thousands of clicks, posts, questions, answers in a very short period of time. I mean, there's a lot to be proud of, an incredible amount of growth and a lot of engagement. But just as that showing of hands is shown, only so many of you at the leadership level are engaging. Now, sometimes people are afraid. They don't want to blog, they don't want to put something out there. Who here has thought, I really don't want to write anything because it's going to be out there permanently? Anybody? You know? Who cares? You're good with it? Yeah, let's say, okay. No. So part of it is just getting comfortable with engaging and answering questions. But the other is realizing how influential each of you are, what it means to be connected and contacted by the leader. So here's a perspective. Adversity doesn't build character, it reveals it. Have you guys heard that expression before? So what does that mean, Tiffany?
That you have to go through like hard things. Sometimes it shows you just
who you really are, right. The first step with the platform is similar. We call the first step of the platform illumination. It first reflects the culture. See, the platform reflects the culture of any organization who leverages it. So if people are collaborating and communicating and investing on the platform, it means they're probably doing it outside of the platform. And if they're not doing it outside of the platform, they're probably not doing it at all. So how many of you after the last day's meeting so far recognize, platform or not, there's more opportunity to work more closely together, to share, to communicate, to do more together? Show of hands. Yeah, everybody, right? Except that guy who's leaving the room right now. Was it something I said? All right. So the platform initially reveals, reflects the organization. And we've had a good start. We've had almost as good a start at the member level as we had the leadership level. And this is where you guys really have a powerful opportunity. I'll kind of give you a quick summary of how to do that. But once it goes to the reflection stage, we're kind of coming to the end of illumination, then it can affect the organization. Then you can start to do amazing things, and you can start to change both internally and externally. You can start to create careers. You can start to help people live their lives better, have more fun, do things fundamentally differently. And think about it, if you improve one person's life, they work fewer hours. It means they're getting home a couple hours earlier. They're spending that much more time with their family, their kids. Right? You impact every single aspect of someone's existence. And in some ways, more profoundly than anyone else. So the second step is the transformation. And ultimately, it transforms your ability to lead. So here's a quick pop quiz. And you have to vote, okay? It means you have to be in it for one of these. So this is a recent poll that we have on the platform. What type of establishment do you work in? So we'll see what who knows what the number one answer is. So show of hands as I call you one. Who thinks it's a sports bar? Okay, one guy, two people. Okay, who thinks it's a casual restaurant? All right, about 25% of you, 30%. Who thinks it's an upscale restaurant? All right, about 8% of you maybe. Who thinks it's a nightclub? No percent of you. Casino gaming, casino non-gaming, private club, local bar, okay, or other. So you guys are the leadership of the organization, right? This is the right room, but if you look at the answer, sorry, well, maybe I can give you the answer. It's in here somewhere. The answer is, I'll come back to it. The answer actually is upscale bar, upscale restaurant. So only 8% of you are connected to what the #1 leading venue type for the organization actually is. So that's a little scary, right? You look scared. I hear you're scared. What do you guys have to say about that? What are your thoughts on that? I heard, it's a good thought. It's good to advance this discussion.
Well, this would require us knowing who's in the organization.
Or if you hit view results, though, right on the homepage, it's there.
But I'm saying, like, just if we haven't visited in the past couple of days, we wouldn't have to.
Well, yeah, although these trends, I mean, these kinds of shares are typically representative of some period of time, right? So the point is, this is an example of every day or every week there's interesting insights about your members, what they're thinking about, what they're focused on. If you're not in here taking a look at these things, it's an opportunity to get more connected to the organization. So here's a quick example. 5 minutes a day to use the platform to lead differently. Okay, minute 1. Jump into the discussion board. Read it. See what they're talking about. See what they're asking about. See what the discussions are. What are they struggling with? Does anyone do that on a regular basis? You okay? Anything you've seen? One guy, Chad. Anything that you've learned, seen, been surprised by?
Oh gosh, been surprised by. I don't know. I mean, if I'm surprised by anything, maybe it's just the differing opinions on the board when there's a topic posted that truly, you know, there are a lot of polarizing topics out there that have been discussed, and I've learned a lot about maybe the way I handle my business and how I can do it better.
Yeah, they're having great discussions. Tipping, giving your friends drinks, everything from that all the way to accelerating your career, different types of decisions. So in 1 minute, guys, as a leader of this organization, you could see what people are talking about, what they're asking about, what they're struggling with, right? All of what's happening without having to do anything other than literally just click in and read it. So can everybody do that? So 1 minute, can everybody make 5 minutes a day or even every other day? Skip the coffee, or Dave says yes. When Dave puts his hand up, everybody has to put their hand up. So can everybody make 5 minutes a day? Yes? Okay, great. Otherwise, there's no tubing, people. This is it. There's no tubing. It doesn't work. Okay, so minute 1, get on the boards. Okay, click in. I mean, guys, said you answer. Minute 2, we're rolling this. Actually, this is new. We're rolling it out to you. We're going to give you a dashboard so you can see for your chapter how often are they logging on, how many clicks, how much time are they spending. So now you can see the rest of what your chapter is doing. So just stop here for a minute. If you just clicked on the view results of the poll, you'd know what people are talking about. If you went and you dipped into the boards, you'd have an idea of what was happening, what the buzz is, what the challenges are, okay? So now we know more about our members, we know what they're talking about. Then we can look at our individual chapter, okay, in minute 2, and see what your particular chapter is doing, how much time they're spending, what that means. Yeah?
Does that mean we'll get to see who new members are?
Well, there are a lot of ways to see. If you can't see who new members are, there are a couple other ways that we can show you that. You're nodding. So let's put that down as one topic on our whiteboard that I don't have a marker for. But if we put that down as one topic to come back to, so new members, that's something that I see someone else nodding. Is that it? Okay. Let's talk about that. Is that so today you don't have the visibility to it. What would you do with the visibility?
Welcome them to the chapter.
Engage them?
Welcome them.
Welcome them. Talk to them. She's laughing. Yeah. Just talk to them. Say hi. Welcome. Okay. How many people would like to be able to do that? Everybody, all right. And how many are doing that today some way or another? How are you guys getting it done today? Over here.
It's not an awesome website. I have access to the TTL website, and it's like really like
yeah. That's a technical term, people. I'm sure it's a technical term. Yep, we're with you.
Yeah, so it's accessible.
Okay, and then you what? Do you call them, send them an email, invite them to an event? Okay, so that's one thing. Okay, cool. So enabling you guys to, in one of these minutes a day, it might need to be 6 minutes now, just warning you. But in 1 extra minute a day, see who your new members are and email them all at once. Hey, welcome, here's my number, call me, etc. Because they do get an email with your information when they join that just say who the chapter president is. But you guys would like to reach out, so that's good. So we can do that. Minute 2, again, just look into the dashboard, see who's using it, how often.
Do we have access to that dashboard now?
No, that's brand new. So that's part of the discussion today. We're just rolling it out for you guys. And I'll talk about what we are including on it, and you can see if there's more that you need. Okay? Minute 3, just share back. Leadership messages are so popular. This is one of the most positive things USBG has embarked on is open line of sharing between chapters has been lacking for many years. Between all of us, we have a vast amount of experience, expertise, and differing perspectives. Allows us to collaborate with each other to help solve problems in a way that's never existed before. These are what your members are saying. This is amazing. This is awesome. This is so cool. We haven't had this. So, they are leading in some cases from the bottom, which is fine. But this is an opportunity for you guys to lead as well, to give answers, to talk, to communicate, to collaborate. I don't know, he's in the back of the room, this was not supposed to be a shameless promotion for Angus, but I'm telling you, the leadership messaging is super popular. And Angus has taken a role, he's taken it upon himself to provide some of that, but every one of you have expertise to share. I mean, how many people here have shared an amazing idea that's helped you in your career with everyone else in the community? Show of hands. Okay, what was the idea? What did you share over here?
I don't remember.
Okay, good. Awesome. It must have been amazing. I would. Does anybody have one that they remember? And if not, it's okay. The point is, 4 hands went up. Okay, so we have all this collective wisdom, and we've had Are we okay?
Yeah, I'm
all right, just making sure. We have had 4 hands go up. So sharing back, and that's part of the exercise we'll do. But just think about how much wisdom is in here. For every one of you, did you have your hand up? You're just stretching. We'll do a calisthenic break in a minute. Imagine if every one of you shared one idea, right? One idea. And there's got to be things that you know that no one else does. To give you a funny example, we were with the chain that was kind of gas convenience. You know, they had Subways, etc. in there. They had a drive-through. And we were walking through with the owner. They had owned about 70 stores or something like that. And in the drive-through, next to the drive-through, there was a bag of dog biscuits, okay, which at first was a bit alarming. But we realized what was happening is one kid took it upon himself that if someone came through the drive-through, instead of having a child to whom they gave a lollipop, they had a dog, he gave him a dog biscuit. And the people loved it. They thought it was brilliant. It was what one kid was doing, right? One guy took it upon himself. As soon as we shared that out with everyone, everyone was doing it. But think about how many remarkable things each of you know. Some trick that you've learned, some way to save time, make more money, make customers happier, whatever it is. If you captured that and shared it out in a 24-hour period, you'd have more collective wisdom than you have today. Now, is there any concern, and be honest, I assume there's not, but is there any concern that I don't want to give out my good ideas, if everyone starts doing them, then I won't be so special? Is that a concern? Is there a barrier to collaboration? See some people saying yes, some people saying no. Let's talk about that for a minute. Who's afraid of sharing out? Just talk about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I did share ideas, and then somebody opened up the restaurant and did it.
Okay.
It sucks.
Not on the site, but what was your idea?
No, I just had an idea for like pastry flights at this one restaurant paired with little mini martinis and little dessert cocktails, basically. And I told my buddy, and he opened up the bar, and he did it, and took all the credit for it, and everybody loved it.
Bastard. Let's go get him right now. How far away do you live?
No.
Okay, we'll find out. Okay, so how much of a concern is that for you guys, that sharing good ideas, but maybe you don't want to share good ideas? For whom is that a concern? Let's see a show of hands. Sharing good ideas that suddenly will be everywhere. So got just a couple? Well, you guys can decide on the idea. So
There are enough ideas.
right, that's the question. I mean, so certain ones you don't want to share, but I assume there's something that every one of you probably knows that will make everyone else's life in here easier. And again, forget you guys. I mean, you're the experienced leaders. Think about everyone else. I mean, aren't there things that you wish you knew on the first day of work that you know now, and the second month? Okay, so we're gonna come back to that in a minute. But the leadership messages are really important to the rest of the people in the organization. They really thrive on it. Okay, you talked before about get to know your new members. You may or may not know this. If you click on the profile of any existing member, you can see everything that they've posted over the last however long, since the beginning of the platform. So just clicking on somebody's name, and you can see everything they've posted. Now think about how much easier it is to engage a member, a new one or otherwise, send them a note and say, hey, I saw you were talking about this the other day. Really interesting topic. How about that? Or we've got a committee forming on this. Are you interested in it? So you can get really personal really quickly. Or maybe they have some goal. They're saying they want to move somewhere, something in the quick hit where their dream vacation is, and you know somebody that you can help them. Right? So in minute 4, you can dip in and pick one member every other day in your chapter, or every day, and send them a quick note, not just how's it going, but I noticed you were talking about this, or you clicked on that, or you commented on this. What do you think about it? Or how else can we talk about it? Or what are you interested in? Does that make sense? It's a very different way to engage. If any of you guys have people working for you, does anyone here have employees at your venues working for you who are also accessing this? Got a couple? So it's the same thing. If you go to a one-on-one with somebody, you sit down, you kind of see what's happening. But if you can click in here and say, hey, by the way, I saw these 3 things you're interested in. So you're interested in craft, you're interested in this or that. You have a very different engagement level now. So minute 4 is that. And minute 5, just connect with each other. We have so many ways that you guys can connect with each other, whether it's commenting, there's easy areas of access. So 5 minutes, you see what's on the discussion boards, and look what's happening in the polls. You'll be able to look at your own dashboard. You'll be able to comment and connect with the people who are part of the organization, share best practices, share ideas, lead as leaders. Click in and view what one person's talking about and what's reading, and then share with each other. In those 5 minutes, you'll add more content in 48 hours than you have in the last 8 months. Right? You'll share more, learn more, and you'll start building something. See, it'll be more extraordinary when somebody joins to say, join the USBG and get access to the collective wisdom of the US most accomplished bartenders, hospitality leaders. You can't say that today. But literally, if everybody logged on and started sharing, you could say that in a week. All right, we're under attack. You could say that in a week, right? I mean, how easily could you shift from me to the idea of we are smarter than me? Does this all make sense? So before we go on to an exercise, what are the barriers to doing this? I know everybody's busy. That's why we did this in 5 minutes a day. I did this last week in Australia with a group, and it was 6 minutes. I took 1 minute out for you guys because Dave said you were busy. But 5 minutes a day. Yes, go ahead.
I would say one of the biggest things that is a barrier between like people participating in polls or whatnot is we have a lot of members who are very active on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and everything else. I think that they see this as being something like basically they're going to be saying the same things through this venue, and they're just reprinting that once again on all these other venues as well. So
that's interesting. I mean, obviously you can't in 132 characters share the collective wisdom of the organization. But I think that's on us to demonstrate that none of this is there, right? I mean, even the Facebook, you can't begin to categorize and catalog and deliver learning experiences on Facebook. I mean, you can put up little articles and paragraphs and pictures right at the bottom, but you can't really start to share. So that's an interesting, that sounds like a communication barrier we have to get through.
It's also kind of a barrier, I mean, to that point, it's one of the values of being a member is sharing that information with other members. So if you dole it out for free on Facebook, as beautiful as that is, as a sentiment, it really devalues the membership a little bit, you know? So
absolutely,
it's nice to have something that is password protected. You log in and you pay your dues, you're a member. Now you get, yeah, some of the same type of content, but a little more in depth, and it's got a value to it. So.
When it's up to us to build that value. So that's, he actually just made the right point in that if it is out there in the public, you're missing. She was excited. You're done for the day. You can take a nap. You're only going to go down for you. So no, but that's a great point, right? That's some of the value of having your private network here. And so let's come back to see hands up. Yep, back here.
I actually disagree a little with you.
Good. Uh-oh, this was his big moment. You're what is wrong with you?
The post is that you have to sign in to read anything. You can't share it with maybe non-members or anything like, the New York Times, you can read 3 articles a day online before it locks you out. If we're trying to use it to recruit people, if we're trying to use some of this collective knowledge and whet people's appetite for it, there's no way to do that.
Okay, that's certainly something we can look at. There's not a whole lot of complexity being able to share out. You can make certain links shareable or something like that. So, but you're disagreeing with, so you're not disagreeing with him, you're just saying it would also be nice to use it as a marketing tool.
Well, always take a screenshot, right?
Yeah, but okay, but I get your point. Yeah. Over here.
So this is more of a tech barrier, and I'm not techie at all, so I don't know how realistic this is. But I know when I'm traveling, I use my iPhone and my iPad a lot. I know I can't open Pulse on.
You should be able.
You should get an Android.
No, you can log in with iOS.
You can log in with iOS, but it's a difficult site to navigate using any of these touch devices because you have to enlarge the screen, pop a drop down, hopefully get the right connect.
So we can certainly give you guys more mobile-enabled interfaces if that's a barrier. Now I'll tell you, 92% of the newsletters that we send, the weekly roundup that we send out, is open on some iOS device, or probably 70% iOS and 20% Android. So okay, so I like that.
I agree with that. I think that if we're wanting everybody to be checking in more often and looking at this, like I need it on my phone to be not frustrating. And it's I can get it. It's very frustrating. I gotta move things. And it's not touch exactly.
Would you guys install an app if we?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Let me ask that again. Can I get an amen?
I was just saying, I move that we have an app for that.
Yeah. Okay. I said like everyone second your motion.
Second.
Okay. Yeah. Back here. You're not going to say anything about her comment.
No.
Okay.
In regards to
positive team
environment. On it more often, let it stay constantly logged in. Like Facebook on any device I'm on, I'm always logged in unless I log out.
Sure.
Anytime I go to that website, it knows me and I'm logged in.
That expires after like 30 days.
Yeah, I think it's a 30-day expiration right now, but we could certainly look at extending that. Okay, so one more, go ahead.
Well, okay, since if you can do all that, and we're going to spend basically, we're going to have it like 24 hours, like monitoring like what's going on our chapter. Can you actually like somehow like put the email in there, so we don't have to open another like screen and then send the email out to all the members. Can you do like kind of like Mary's the email in?
Just to email your members of your chapter?
That's the most difficult thing. I mean, as a tool, to be able to hit one button and send out a message to all your members is the most beneficial thing.
Yeah.
Right now, I can't do that.
Right now, okay.
And that's seriously, I mean, that's an easy, simple way to communicate. And that needs
MailChimp is free. And
yeah, but that means you're setting up something separate from what they already have as records of your membership.
Yeah, all right, well, let's come back to that one. I mean, that's good from a communication perspective. So I just want to circle back down to the idea, though. Are you guys aligned with this idea that you could be and should be creating content, structured to one side, sharing, building this collective wisdom? Because right now, it's not happening. And right now, honestly, I mean, while the growth has been dramatic, it's scratching the surface of what you could be doing because the leadership isn't sharing all of this. So is there anyone who, again, we talked a little about don't want to share too many ideas, but is there anyone here now who feels like there's a key obstacle for you to go on and share your ideas? What's worked, how it's worked, why it's worked? Any other obstacles to doing that, the sharing part? Any reason why you shouldn't be?
Well, I'd like to point out, I mean, a lot of it is also just sort of the age of the platform, too. I mean, it takes a while for the game ahead of steam to actually have a searchable library of information and questions and answers being. I mean, I think a lot of that sort of comes with time. That's probably a huge part of why I don't use it quite as much. It's almost the chicken versus the egg.
So you're waiting for all them to put good stuff up and then you use it. Okay, I like that. Team player. No, I understand. I'm actually not. But that is part of the challenge, is just that, right? You have to hit a certain level of critical mass, which is your point. But you guys are the critical mass, right? You guys are the ones who drive that. If we relied on all the newest members who are in some cases the most active, but they're also the least knowledgeable. They have the least amount of wisdom. They haven't built this shared experience. So you had your hand up before.
Oh yeah. I actually have a question about USBG Pulse versus USBG.org. Are we phasing out .org?
Well, .org is for non-members. Yeah, so .org is for. The future of .org is still to be the kind of front end for non-members, right? So it's where you join, it's where you present information, the kind of value proposition, et cetera. Is that not what you're asking about, though?
Well, the reason I'm asking this is because if you go onto USBG.org, you have it's a really old interface. It's kind of difficult to navigate, and that's beside the point. You get like different things you can do, your master accreditation program, looking at benefits, this, that, and the other, and then you go to the Pulse site, and that's where all the information is being shared. Why are we not using the Pulse site, which is a slightly better site, to actually actively engage potential members? Why
talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, we can talk about it. The Pulse site is the password-protected social learning environment, so it isn't your public-facing website. So the intention behind USBG.org is to be your public-facing site. So like anything else, before you join, right, you have to have some external experience. So happy to figure out what it is that you don't think works on USBG.org or what's missing from that. But on some level or another, what's behind the login has to stay for members only, although it sounds like you're saying you want more different things for non-members before they join, or more things to compel them to join. Okay.
I mean, I think sometimes there are websites that you can go on and like, you learn a little more information, and then if you want more, you do have to log in.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, I think you can bring up the trial.
Yeah. So one thing, one thing that we are looking at trialing. You guys got something back here?
No, just a joke.
Okay. So one thing,
like premium access.
Premium. Well, actually, one thing we're looking at trialing is the ability to give people 30 days access to the platform. So if you're a professional in the industry and you guys want to invite someone in for 30 days, they wouldn't have full rights to comment and write on everything, but the ability for them to get in and experience it, because it is a huge part of the value proposition that right now you can't get your arms around, which is kind of to your point.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, why would you ask somebody to go to one site for one thing and then go to another site for something else? Why do you not have everything?
Do you mean in terms of like the web address, like it should all point to the same place?
Why is the membership is on USBG.org?
Yeah, that's part of that. It's just a legacy that you guys have had .org out there for a long time. It's registered in all the search engines, etc. But we could certainly look at, although we haven't had any members, or new members have issue with that, we could certainly look at combining those into one.
It's more about just keeping everything in one place as opposed
to
here or here.
As a leader, all our membership is under the old one.
Yeah.
So it's like you're toggling. So you want to get stuff from the other one, but
Oh, are you talking about TTN right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, we're transitioning away from TTN, but it's the only thing that has our entire member database right now, and hopefully we're going to be phasing that out as we put more information on Pulse. We'll be able to do that. So that is in the works. Is that what you're talking about? USBG.org?
Yes.
Is the TTN site, or are you talking about the public-facing site that does the member recruitment?
It's TTN, but that's it. That's it.
Okay.
I'm talking about all of it.
Okay. We are trying to simplify. Yes, Pulse is new for us, and we didn't want to launch something brand new and clear everything else, which was where we had everything stored. So, but definitely.
Specifically, right now, the public-facing site is the one I'm most concerned about.
Okay.
I think of the two sites, Pulse is slightly more dynamic.
Yes.
And it would definitely be more interesting. I think people would be more compelled.
Got it.
If they looked at Pulse.
When is the last time you were on USBG.org?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Let's since that looks like a different conversation that I don't know we are going to be able to address right now, because right now we're talking about internally communicating with our members, and externally communicating is something that is not quite on this topic, but it's something that we can definitely address, and we're going to tell you how we can address that in the next seminar.
All right. Go ahead.
I have a hard time on the Pulse site finding members. I don't know if anyone else has that problem. Like often, if I click on a friend who's already friended like 50 people, then I can go through those and be like, oh, I know that person, okay. But otherwise, just seeking who's there. And if we currently have over 2,500 members and we're looking to have them all be on Pulse all the time, then I want to be able to connect and have other people reach out to me as well, equally, through Pulse easily.
Okay. Yeah, there are a couple ways to find friends if it's not obvious, but we'll take that down the list and give you some maybe more clear options of how to get there.
Okay. And Frank, you want to put USBG.org on that as well? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. Sometimes, like when I'm traveling and I try to go to different sites, different city sites, and I'll put a message on there, nobody ever picks it up, nobody ever responds.
Well, you should be yelling at these people.
No, what I'm saying is there a way that you can attach, like, because everybody's on their Hotmail or whatever account every day. Is there any way you can attach, like if you're specifically targeting somebody on Pulse?
Yeah, I mean, we can come back to now. You start, how people use their email and trying to integrate it becomes an issue because everyone's using different email clients. What you're saying though is I'm communicating and no one's communicating back, right? That's the fun.
Like some of them say they never got it.
Right. So let's come back to that. I mean, this is like the email with MailChimp question before. I mean, the platform is intended to do certain things really, really well. And sharing, building knowledge, communicating, and connecting with new members, all those things it does. So some of them may be nuanced or there's a usage piece that we can help with. And I'm happy to come back to it, but before we run out of time, I guess I want to drop into this discussion of, and this is kind of the exercise, if you guys, to kick off the sharing and the driving knowledge, and to go from where we've been for the last 8 months, which has been good for illumination, but to move into that transformative stage, what I'd like you guys to do is take a few minutes together and identify amongst yourself one amazing idea. So share for 5 minutes with each other, then go pick somebody's idea. One idea, either it could be what you wish you knew when you started or you wish you knew 6 months ago, something that you believe if you shared out would be of significant value to every single member. And then when we're done with the exercise, you'll go around, teach it back, and whoever your poor spokesperson is who pulls the short straw will then go on the platform in the next 24 hours and post it out there. So we can kind of kickstart sharing this collective. Because we need to understand what it is that you guys feel is missing. We need to understand what it is that you guys have to share. And then ultimately, we're working to build an ongoing curriculum so that, as I said, when someone logs into this platform, it's not just what's there today. It's what's there in terms of functionality. You have blogs, forums, discussions, learning modules, videos, friends. I mean, anything you could possibly imagine. But what we need is you and your voice and your experience and your expertise. And then when you're on there, your members will get on there. When you've clicked in and they know that, wow, the chapter president saw one of my posts, loved it, and sent me a note to someone who's new in the industry, that's inspiring. That's something that'll change the way that they think about it. So I want you to take 5 or 7 minutes, circle up at your tables, you're already in a circle, talk about, share what's the 1 or 2 things you wish you knew, and then decide on one of them. But capture all of them, because every one of you can go in and share that. And when we're done, we'll be able to give you a place to log on and start capturing all that collective wisdom. So when someone does go and do a search, we start to rapidly build critical mass. And then we'll wrap up. And also, I'll be here all night, tip your waiters, but we can do a I'm around to have more discussions, specific discussions about a particular issue or item or opportunity. I just want to make sure we don't walk out of this room without shifting from where we've been, which is a great start, to really leveraging your experience to make your lives better than everyone else. Okay, so take 5 minutes, answer that question. Got it?
All right.
That was really good.
I think we're running short on time. You can do it, you can do it. I know it's coming. I don't have to turn the lights out. How was that as an exercise? Seems like you guys were having good dialogue. I heard the noise over here. So let's go table to table. And you guys can share out one idea that you wish you knew, or whatever, however it is that you guys conceived of something to share. We'll go around. And then when we're finished here, your nominated spokesperson can go on the site, and we're launching a thread that says, what I wish I knew. Just go into the discussions. You can click in there and share, again, what you wish you'd known when you were getting started, or whatever the wisdom is. So let's start with that table in the back corner over there. You guys?
Okay, so Tony from San Francisco. Our biggest thing or positive improvement is connectivity to letting people know when things are happening on your page. Or if someone is coming, so I'm on the local page right now, and I noticed a post from a Texan bartender that was there 2 weeks ago. And he posted out, hey, I'm coming to San Francisco. There's 0 replies on there. I had no idea that had been put on there. I had been on there a whole week. So if something happens on my page, having that ping forward to... Yeah, if you click into any of those forums, you can subscribe and it'll email you every time someone updates. Okay. So that idea, got it. That is there. That is there. Okay. That is there. Second would be to, if there is a San Francisco, on that San Francisco page, having our, not our personal contact info, but just our general email. So that someone could have written that to us as well.
To send you an email separately. Yeah. So, well, you kind of want to make, okay, that's fine. Let's come back to that.
We could set that up for the chapter email to subscribe to the, maybe should there be a general chapter member?
Yeah, I mean, we could easily set up another email channel.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I was saying that on there so someone can see it and go, oh, okay, this is who I should contact there.
Yeah, it does email you if you sign up. Okay, but the exercise, I appreciate this. The exercise, though, was something that you would share with the community that you learned as a bartender. Did everyone else get the... Okay, you guys are not going to know. All right, let's try table number 2. Over here, this table. You guys, yeah. Are you the spokesperson?
So,
what's your name?
Elizabeth.
Okay.
And I'm from Washington. You're welcome. One thing that I wish I had known when I first started bartending was the secret to a successful dry shake, which is to put 1 ice cube in your tins before you start so that the seal doesn't break.
I like that. What do you guys think of that? All right. So hold on to that one, because again, you're going to share that later. Is that something that you feel like a lot of people don't know, would like to know? Yeah? Like it?
Or disagree with?
Anybody disagree with that?
Not me necessarily.
Start the conversation. Okay. All right, good. Not Chad. All right, good. This table. You guys. Yeah.
My name's Chad, Denver. We said that we wish that, or we hope that we want to share with all our fellow bartenders that they understand that their own worth as a bartender, as an ambassador, as a consultant of their own brand.
Okay.
Not to devalue or undervalue themselves in the work that they do and who they affiliate themselves with.
Talk a little more about that.
Everything from associating yourself with maybe a subpar brand just to try and get your name out there, or not valuing your work enough when a bar asks you to write some cocktails for them, and giving up your intellectual property at too low of a price.
Okay, I like that. So that's the kind of your personal understanding of your value in the supply chain, who you really are, what you represent, and in many ways you represent the brand as much as they represent you, right? So I like this. I feel like something you feel like you could share out with the community. Okay, great. You guys?
Resume writing for the hospitality industry. We've all learned how to do, business resumes, I think, in high school, but they don't teach you how to do something for this industry, which is a little
you add and share different details.
Yeah, you like that?
I do like that.
Yeah,
That's
everybody like that
incredible
idea?
thing to share.
This table.
Oh, right.
Hospitality industry specific resume writing.
And how to properly market your skills to where it's feasible for someone else to look at that.
All right, now do you guys, someone have an example of a best practice in a resume that you can post?
Well, I received a resume from someone that was phenomenal because it had basically a creative portfolio of cocktails that they had created, the pour costs on those cocktails, pictures, garnishes, things like that. I mean, as an owner, that was a phenomenal resource to get.
You guys think that sounds good?
Yeah.
Is that something you could again change the name and protect the guilty and we could post out there? Okay, I think that's a great idea. So who's you're the spokesperson, I assume?
No.
Oh, there's no way. She was the spokesperson. All right, which means
Why don't we collaborate?
Collaborate. All right, that's good. You guys?
I think from going from bartender to entrepreneur.
Okay.
Kind of going a little bit off of what he does. I started a cocktail catering company. How did I get off the ground from my garage to now doing 1,000 events a year? Like, what's the process and how do you move forward?
That's awesome.
Whether it's coming out with a Bloody Mary mix or a tincture or something you want to bottle, or just from bartender to entrepreneur.
Yeah. I love that. And can you share some of that out? That's fantastic. Everybody like that?
Yeah.
How many people here are currently bartenders looking to be more entrepreneurial? Okay, so your answer is sitting at this table, right? So that's the whole idea behind starting to share these things out, because they'll be able to show you the things that we do wrong, and maybe you'll make different mistakes and you'll share them back. Okay, how about over here?
We went down a dark path.
Okay, what did you do?
We talked at great length about problems with the calendar and things we'd like to see better. But on a positive note, I think something that we would share out would be ways, ways to protect your ingredients. They're kind of basic things like I hire bartenders from scratch, and they come in and because they've never been behind a bar before, they don't think about the fact that vermouth is not a spirit. It should probably be chilled. You should probably keep it in your cooler. So leaving it out on the rail is a bad idea.
Why did you hire this?
That's a different session.
It's still going to scare you, but not everybody knows everything already. So I think basics like that, and into a little bit more in depth. How to protect your ingredients, how to deal with things.
What does that mean, how to protect your ingredients? Can you get specific on something like that?
Sure, things that, what your various shelf lives are, or should be, which things should be kept cold, which things should be kept dry, which things should be kept on a high shelf, low shelf, mid shelf.
Can you share out the top 10 most common mistakes or what you see, the biggest atrocities? Because that's a great example, right? Yeah, remember that's atrocity number one, maybe?
Wine bottles on top of a cooler where you're getting all that heat from the back. It's just
So give us some of those, because again, they're not even thinking about it, right? Especially the newer guys. So that's great. I like that. Who hasn't gone? So you guys haven't gone. What have you got?
Well, we took the question literally. What if we knowing what we know now?
Yeah.
What would have made our lives that much easier? And without a doubt, it would be I'd go find out who the best person or best bar in town was, and go try and work for them, and learn in a year what it took 10 years for us to learn coming up.
Because they're going to have better quality of training, better quality of service. Interesting. What do you guys think of that?
If you were going to put something like that up, you could say, why don't you, since you can't post, hey, go work at someone else's bar. You could say, why don't you look for, go
Give the attributes
and look at this stuff.
But just literally, if we knew, all of us in the room, we think about where you started, what bars, what kind of bars, how long you spent there. I mean, if we all went and worked for Dale DeGroff when we first came in, it would be a whole different ballgame.
That's also the great thing with peer-to-peer learning, I think, for the USBG, because so many things, when I was doing my Bar Smarts Advanced, someone took me downstairs to their bar and said, all right, here you go, let's focus in on this, and helped me so much. And I'm so grateful that we had that USBG connection to be able to do that.
That kind of mentor program.
Yeah.
Well, think of what you said so far.
Yesterday too, so important.
I mean, you've said we can teach you how to write a much better resume, which is going to show up more effectively, which you can take to a better place to get a better job, to learn more quickly, not leave vermouth on the rail. I mean, you're starting to think about how this stuff pieces together and how quickly it can accelerate a career. All right, so which tables are left? We do a few more.
For 15 minutes,
Yeah.
It's again goes to Artisan House, downtown LA. But, I mean, it was not a good experience. It's sometimes bartenders, I mean, sorry, but we can all be a little pretentious, you know? And it's very unappealing. No one's going to join the Bartenders Guild if you're basically a prick and think you're better than everybody else.
Right.
You know? So it's a big thing. Say hi to people, talk about it, be friendly with them, explain to people at work. I've gotten my bar backs to join the USBG just because I talked to them a little bit about cocktails while they're helping me do stuff behind the bar.
So the thing for you to think about again is how you turn that into a message, whether that message is for other leaders, which maybe you've just given it to members as well. I like that. Okay, next, back here.
Yeah, there's a lot of commonality, obviously, but we talked about, you know, we really just knew how to do our job in the sense of techniques, like how to stir, how to shake. Not saying that the USBG shakes or stirs this way, but taking all this experience in the room and seeing how 7 different people across the country stir a cocktail and have the same end result would make us better. We realized we're the 1%. We're 1% of the entire universe of like bartenders out there that are really passionate in this sense, and there's new people coming up that maybe don't want to ask the questions, or experienced bartenders who've been bartending for 20 years that don't want to say they don't know how to shake properly or how to stir it. They could watch a video of 10 or 15 different people across the country and learn it, and then replicate it, watch it again, and then be able to go back to their bar and be a stepping stone, and then eventually come work for one of us in one of our bars. They wouldn't feel so intimidated.
Yeah.
And I think we'd be...
I like that. And the Harlem Shake does not count, right? No, I think that's a great idea. Actually, that idea of twerking does count. That's the next session. So just that idea, though, there are so many different ways to accomplish these, and even putting something out there to say, you know, how do you shake? That's only effective, though, if everyone answers. Because I've seen some great questions posted out there that no one's responding to. So does that make sense, that there are so many ways to do it? We want to share that out. Okay, who's left? Over here.
I had the best table. I got like Angus and Sean over here.
Don't gloat, thank you. It's not attractive.
Pam, New York. Few just really fast. These are very fast ones. Number 1, invest in footwear. Spend $120 on a really good pair of shoes. Don't get those Chuck Taylors. They won't do you any good, and you're gonna have back problems and like by the end of the year.
You look cool while you're walking with your king, right?
You don't want to see your feet anyway, so like just get something and make sure it works as comfortable. Number 2 is invest in yourself, and it's an investment for later. Like if you want to work with brands, you want to do things, just put yourself out there. You're not going to be like that lucky duck who sits back, who's like, no one picks me to do anything, and so someone else gets picked all the time. Put yourself out there. Go network. Go do things for free at first. You know, just get yourself out there, and then eventually you'll build up that rapport, and you're going to be that person they call into those special events. So don't sit back and cry. Get yourself out there if you want to take the initiative.
Don't sit back and cry. I like that. Okay, no, I like that. It sounds like the footwear thing is a huge hit. That's a whole other line, right, of opportunity to identify what are all the things you can do. That's one example to make your life easier. So I think that's great. And you'll hop online and share that out? Got it. Awesome. All right, over here.
What about like sharing out for baby bartenders what it is that you should give your time to? Like you can get on with the brand and go and bar back at Tails and start to meet a network of people. What accreditations are we all striving to get? Should you get Cicerone? Should you get your SOM? Is it worth taking this class or that class? Or what should you give your time to, and a reading list and things like that?
So can you give some examples? Can you give them 5 or 7 examples of things you think they should do? I mean, can you hop on and do that? I think it's a great idea.
Well, I mean, yeah.
You're the spokesperson.
I'm using like tequila.net. Those people are amazing. I specialize in agave spirits. So for me, like the Tequila Matchmaker app, maybe I wouldn't have found it if I hadn't spoken with them, and each one of us could utilize it or grow into other categories that we could be using that app for.
Yeah.
So those kind of things, just sharing with one another what we're reading, how we're growing, and what's worth giving your time to as a baby bartender coming up to make these connections that we all have.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. If you can, again, pick 4 or 5 or whatever you guys prioritize. I think the bar backing idea is a great example. Just give them a place to start and to start the conversation.
Yeah, like what are brands looking for and how can you participate together?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you'll learn and network. I like that. Any tables we missed so far? Did I miss anybody? Right here.
We talked about just actually from a structural point of view, I don't even know if it's physically possible to have somewhat what we have today, to let the treasurers go and have a discussion group only amongst other officers, where not everybody had to show their ass to the whole community.
Sure.
But they don't know
You
what
say
the
ass.
treasurer is supposed to do.
Yeah, okay. right, cool. I'm with you. I want to see this treasurer group. All right, go ahead. Yeah. Not like a fun group.
So like a private place for the presidents to share stuff that's only for the presidents?
Yeah, we can do that easily. Yeah, that's something we could do before the day.
That way you're not going on the whole public platform and saying, I have no clue what I'm doing right now.
Right. Okay, I like that a lot. I like that.
I'd also like to.
Yeah.
I know on the
Wait, just before you get into more platform, just want to step back for 1 second, because I like that. But just back to the earlier points. So you heard today how to grow an entrepreneurial enterprise, how to get a better job, where you should start working. You heard ideas about how to share different ways to get to the same place. You heard how to get started, where you should connect to, what events you should attend. Just those ideas alone, right, could change somebody's life, change their career, make it easier, better, faster, do the things Dave was saying, just have more fun. Get to all those goals we talked about earlier, make more money where I am, or advance to somewhere else, or just do it in less time. So that's one example from 9 minutes on break. I gave you 2 extra because you were so chatty. 9 minutes of you talking, and we've got ideas that would fundamentally shift how people live their life in this industry, which would also improve the level of service quality, having people deliver better service, right? So I encourage you first, get online and share that out. Then don't stop doing that, right? Spend the 5 minutes a day, experiment with it. I'll make sure before I'm done, you've got my email address, you have our contact info. Start doing your 5 minutes a day and come back and say, this is what I did. How do we do this? Or I'd like to do something else. Give us the feedback. You guys are ultimately the leader. Thankfully, you don't look like the caveman, but you are the clan leader. They will follow. Your people will follow what you do. If you share, collaborate, engage, learn from each other, they will too. Right? This is a reflection of the organization more than it is anything else. So I think you guys know more than you ever need to know. You have more than you could possibly share. If we could just get 10% of that up there, you'll have, again, a broader, more robust resource than anyone else in the world. I would argue that there's more collective wisdom in this organization than anywhere in the world for how to do this job well, how to make it a career, how to make it a business. You have to share it out, right? And it'll make every one of you better as well. Because someone in here who wants to be an entrepreneur, then Brian's going to be able to teach you how. Boris, sorry, what is it? Boris. Yeah, Boris, that's the second one, it's far away. Boris, right, he'll be able to teach you how. Each of you can teach something else. We are smarter than me. So if you guys can go and do that, can I get a commitment that you'll at least go spend your 5 minutes each day, start engaging, share out these things, and then you can come back and tell us what else you need. We'll have a technical discussion, but show of hands. Who here feels like they can go and do that, spend the time? All right, Dave, almost everybody. That guy's not going tubing, everybody else is. All right, good.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Who moderates the content, and what's your criteria for doing so? Like, say, somebody goes up there and posts bad information. Who decides that that is bad information and whether or not it stays up? Someone might think it's a good idea, and someone else may think it's a bad idea. So how do we mediate?
Yeah, so we have
and how do you decide? Well, like, what's your criteria?
Yeah, so 2 things on that. The kind of idea of bad information is a question. Like if they're fundamentally saying something that's just not true, like whatever, vodka's really scotch or something. Typically, the community really quickly identifies that. I mean, that's the idea. It is kind of an organic group. Now, we also have a community manager on there who spends the time to go through the posts, identify themes and trends. So if they see something that, again, is truly fundamentally wrong, and hey, the thing you should do is beat your customers up afterwards to get more tips, then we'll address that. But generally speaking, you guys are the community. You're going to jump in the discussion and say, no. Or here's 3 other examples, or here's how we do it. And unless there's also the opportunity to flag something if it's truly inappropriate, you can do that. But other than that, that's part of the discussion. So it depends on, so we can talk more about it, but depending on what bad means. But it is a self-regulating community. Just think if someone here stood up and gave some horrendous piece of advice and everyone else is going to disagree. You have that capability there, but you also have the ability to flag the post if it's inappropriate. And we have community managers who can do the same thing if something gets too heated. Or sometimes we just try and make things more constructive. So it's like, hey, I really think this sucks. We can rewrite and say, hey, I don't think this works. And then we'll say, well, what would you do differently? Give us something constructive. And we've done that with users in the past. And they'll come back on and say, okay, here's what I meant by that. And then we'll continue the discussion. Does that make sense? Okay. But we have to wrap up. One last one? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to be materialistic here for a minute. Can I get something for my points?
Yeah, why not?
I got 2,700 points.
That's awesome.
I want some.
All right, so we'll do a
session 6. Session 6.
I'll pass. Yeah, that's the question for these guys in finance. So yeah, good luck with that. Yeah.
Session 6.
Whereas we can put you know, like if we do an event and there's stuff, we can put it in there. So San Francisco or Phoenix.
Yeah, you have a resources, under resources there is a library of folders that are there to upload really any kind of content. So there's an easy way then to just add folders. So you have that under your resources area. It has videos or PDFs or documents. So it is there. If you tag it, then it's searchable. So take a look at that section. Then again, if you want to, I'll be here later if you want to kind of sit and talk about it. But you have the capability. Yeah, everybody can get to it. So, all right, guys, that's all the time I have. I'm around.